So what we're doing is changing out the charge pipes. I'm going to try to do it from the top without having to pull the front bumper off. I've taken this panel off here, as you can see, and I'm working on removing the intake pipe, which I have a replacement for. I'm just waiting for a PCV connection to come in for my catch can system before I install that. But what I'm going to do is pull this out, and I'm going to see if I can't get enough room to actually get down to that clamp, which you can't see it. I'm going to pull the lower airbox out and see if it'll give me room to get to the bottom clamp on this charge tube right here, and see if I can't change it out. Okay, when removing the stock airbox, there's a 10mm bolt that holds it in place that goes into that clip, and you just, once you have it out, you just pull this whole thing straight up out of the car. And what I'm trying to access is that clamp right down there. I've also got to take off the passenger side charge pipe. So I'm going to take these clamps loose. And there's clamps down there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see them from here. There you get two. Take those two clamps right there loose and pull that out. Okay, I got the charge pipes out. It took me about 15 minutes. What I ended up doing was loosening these clamps off by reaching down over here on the driver's side. I just reached down and kind of pushed the coolant line over, which gave me access down to the 7mm nut. And I've got an electric driver, so I just stuck it down there on it and hit it, you know, and wound it out. And then on this side, what I ended up doing was taking the top loose so I could kind of manipulate the pipe and reach down through here with my electric ratchet. Got in behind, hit the top clamp, which gave me mobility to move the pipe out of the way. And then I went on further down and reached the bottom clamp, loosened it off, and pulled it off. I don't know if you could do it with a manual hand ratchet, but I know you can do it with an electric ratchet. Alright. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the stock charge pipes next to the REV9 charge pipes, which, you know, you can tell this rubber one is probably a little bigger, but if you look at the bends, this is going to cause airflow dynamic issues, whereas this is smoother bends and whatnot. I couldn't find anybody that had gotten the REV9 kit and installed it, and I had seen a Mishimoto and CV Fab kit up close, and these are pretty comparable. CV Fab pipes are a lot bigger and they go great with their intercoolers, but I've got these look like almost identical to the Mishimoto intercooler pipes. They're much cheaper, so I figured, screw it, I'll give them a buy and try it. I'm fixing to transfer my Turbo Smart blow-off valve over here to the pipe, and this tube over to the pipe, so that I can get ready to put them back in. And when I put them back in, I'm going to put the clamps on to where I have access to them better from the engine bay, whereas from the factory, the stock clamps, you know, you pretty much got to take the front bumper off to get to them. Well, I'm going to try to remedy that so I can service from the engine bay. Alright, got the driver's side charge pipe on. What I ended up doing is installing this boot. As you can tell, that clamp's rotated inside, and I reached down here and tightened it with my ratchet. Installed this one here. These clamps, I don't really particularly like them. I'm probably going to order some of those better turbo clamps, what they call them, the T-bone clamps or whatever they are. Anyway, relatively straightforward, simple install on that pipe. Got one more to do, which I think that one's going to be a booger, but we'll see in a second. Alright, I've transferred everything over to the new charge pipe for the passenger side, and what I'm going to do is apply this boot first, and then I'm going to try to get down there and put that boot and clamp down there on, and then slide the pipe into place, and then tighten the other clamps. which when I install these, after I get this clamp tightened, I'm going to slide the other clamp over and let it sit there, and do the same down there. Tighten the first clamp and slide the second clamp on, so when I put the pipe in, all I got to do is put them in place and tighten them up. They're 7mm. Okay, as you can see, I've got the charge pipes installed and clamped. I don't like the clamps it came with. At some point I will be upgrading those, because these clamps are garbage, but they work for the time being. And then I've come back and went ahead and installed my diverter valve hose that diverts the air out of the charge pipe into the intake pipe whenever you let out the throttle. And you just reinstall everything back as it were, and you are done installing a set of REV9 charge pipes.